Ladies and gentlemen, we're in Sydney, northern beaches of Sydney, and we're real estate agents. So we're noticing there is a change with people moving, and it is up north. So we wanted to speak to someone up north. We picked Newcastle. We've got a Newcastle developer, Ben online, and we're going to talk about the people they're meeting that are heading north and hearing their stories and why they're moving. Stay tuned.
Morning, gents. Ben, thanks for joining us. So we brought on Ben Cove, a Newcastle local. Do you live up there as well, Ben, or you just work up there?
Well, look, I think it'd be a little bit too much to say I'm a local now. I've been here for a few months, but have been working in the area for a while.
Doing some development stuff, some really cool, exciting stuff. So, yeah, we brought you on this morning. You were going to give us the rundown.
Yeah, so great. Thanks for having me on board, guys.
No worries.
I guess what are you guys seeing down there? Because we're seeing a lot of interesting stuff up here. Now, look, I work for a company called Mavid. We're developers that do a number of different stuff, but we're doing a lot of residential as well. We do everything from food and fuel to retail to commercial, but we're doing a lot of stock at the moment of units and townhouses throughout sort of Newcastle, out into the sort of western side of Newcastle as well, with some townhouse developments, and they're really starting to go through that investor market. But we're also seeing a lot of stuff that's coming up from Sydney. A lot of people coming up from Sydney. I guess I actually personally was stuck into that sales sort of process. We recently sold in the Central Coast in Terrigal, which I think you guys would have been aware of, seeing I was always posting in the little comments. So sold there and then bought in Fletcher, which is the western side, just near the connection of the Link Road and the M1. We sold from one market and bought in a new market, and really noticed that there was a lot of people moving up from Sydney. I think off the back of all of this interest rate stuff, and doom and gloom that everyone seems to be thinking of the market, buying in somewhere like Newcastle is still going to be significantly cheaper and better bang for buck than what you're getting in probably in Sydney. We've often thought about moving back to Sydney, but frankly just couldn't buy back in.
Yeah, once you're sold, it's sort of the other way. So do you actually find, this always intrigues me, so that the primary motivation for people that do head north would be better, would it be lifestyle or would it be debt reduction?
I think it's a bit of both. I think now it's a bit of both, definitely. I think we were motivated personally by, obviously I work up in Newcastle as well, so the commute was killing me. But more the point, we were able to take a good couple of $100,000 off the mortgage and buy in a newer house, bigger house with amazing views. We got a lot more bang for our buck as well.
Yeah.
So
something that I find that people, it is a little bit tribal, and people don't realise they have their tribe of school friends, parents, brothers and sisters and things that are in Sydney, but there are people that actually can even, sometimes the whole family's going, so the whole tribe's moving, and I've seen a little bit of that where, yes, mum and dad are in their 60s, but they're going as well. Yes, my sister's got a job, but she can actually go as well, and my brother, he's going as well. So everyone sort of heads up north, and they all sell. So I've seen a little bit of that. As a developer, did you guys do that, or you guys were always in that area?
Look, so Mavid Group is in New South Wales, but we do stuff all over New South Wales and into Queensland as well. So yeah, look, we're doing a lot of work in Newcastle. Newcastle, I think, I read an article not too long ago saying it's one of the highest growth regional towns in Australia.
They're pretty incredible.
A lot of stuff going on here. And the reality is, I mean, and you guys may see this down in the Sydney market, and you said it before, Mark, it's difficult to buy in. It's difficult to start off. The amount of money you need to buy a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom unit that's a relatively old, might need a little bit of work, it's still a big mortgage. That's for someone to start up. Up here, we're doing brand new units, starting in the sort of 500s, brand new townhouses in the sort of 700s to 900s. They're 3-bedder, brand spanking new with all the trimmings.
So what's a 1-bedder cost in is it Mayfield?
Yeah, so we're doing some stuff we're doing some stuff in Mayfield in the quarter. So look, if anyone's out there listening and is interested, obviously give Mark and Billy a call. So we've got them sort of around the $500,000 mark
for a 1-bedder.
For a 1-bedder, brand new.
I remember that plan that you showed me. It's not just a 1-bedder. It's on steroids compared to a standard sort of 1-bedder. It's pretty incredible. And what's a 2-bedder around there sell for?
Unfortunately, I think we've only got one of them left. Look, the 2-bedders, there's a bit of a range in them. I might just actually look up my stock sheet for you. But they're running anywhere up to sort of 600-ish, 650,
around there. And then what's a townhouse get there? So they're 3-bedder townhouses you got there.
Well, look, we've got stuff in the ones that we've got in Mayfield. They're sort of between that 890 up until the mid 900s.
Yep.
But Mayfield's a site that's really close to town. We're doing other stuff, which is in Fletcher at the moment. Coincidentally, only like 50 meters from where we've bought, and they're around the sort of mid 7s. Again, brand spanking new. 3-bedroom townhouse, lock-up garage.
And so are these being snapped up, Ben? Did you find them going out the door pretty quickly?
Well, yeah, we have. We've seen a few things. We've seen a real mix of who's buying them. There's been a number of investor groups that have been purchasing that go in, and they don't necessarily get too stressed over the look and feel and everything. They look at the rental market. And look at ensuring that they get a certain return. We've seen them going really well. Majority of them have actually gone in that market, but there's also a good market for owner occupiers as well. Rental market here in Newcastle is insane. You just can't find anything.
Really?
And what is the new unit like? This new stuff? What sort of rental return does it get?
We've done some rental appraisals. We're looking around those sort of the 3-bedroom townhouses around the sort of 600 to 700. Obviously, it depends. There's a couple of different types and sizes that we've got, and the units are sort of 400 or 500 a week.
So they're getting about a 4.5 to 5% return, which is pretty strong.
Yeah, not to mention the capital growth.
Yeah. And do people in Newcastle are the people in Newcastle now selling and heading north, or are they still buying and selling within their region?
Not something that I've seen of them buying and selling north. There's a lot of land estate here and a lot of places where you can actually buy land and build. Yeah. Which is difficult to find in Sydney Metro unless you're going a long way out. The stuff in Fletcher, just to give you an example, we've bought in an established estate, but they've got a heap of stuff that's coming up there. New land developments with coming across into Minmai, and that's 25 minutes and you're in town.
Yeah.
Up through Chisholm, Lochinvar into the Hunter Valley has got some, just tons of land, but they are selling quicker than they can, register the lots.
I think, everyone kind of knows where Newcastle as well, where it is, but, look behind me, 2 hours away on the car and you're there. It's closer than, you might think.
But I think that's the big thing, Billy. I think we're seeing a real decentralisation of the workforce now. People, especially after COVID, you don't have to live in Sydney anymore. You can, a lot of people can, work remotely, but then there's also those that are going in a couple of days a week, couple of days a week's doable to go down to Sydney for 2-hour drive there and back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And work out of Newcastle. We're seeing a lot of business and a lot of commerce happening in Newcastle as well.
Yeah, that's really exciting.
Yeah, you just don't have to be there.
Yeah,
We've got
absolutely.
for investors. Up the rents, says Luke.
It's funny you say that because the rents actually, we've seen people that are going in and actually offering more rent just to ensure they secure a place. You've probably seen that in Sydney. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think, and I get that COVID's responsible for a lot of what's happened, like this tree change that we're talking about this morning is directly related to COVID, which is directly related to people's inhibitions. I think people have always loved to have more debt, loved to improve their lifestyle, and COVID allowed them to push the button on that, whether it be work or whatever the reason, remote office and not, whatever the reasons are, that's how we got there. Do you reckon? Now, I guess this is not really a Newcastle centric question, but it's a lifestyle centric question. Do you reckon people are going to come back? Do you reckon they're going to go after 3 years or 5 years? Newcastle stint was great, Queensland stint was great, I'm going back to Sydney, or do you literally think it's going to be like a bye Sydney?
I did a little bit of that. Bye, Sydney. See you later, Sydney, a while back.
Yeah, see ya.
Do you think it's necessarily that people would leave and their kids come back as opposed to, necessarily that family coming back? I mean, I've got 2 young kids myself. I'm sure, when they're ready to fly the roost that, they won't be necessarily satisfied with the nightlife and pizzazz of Newcastle, although, it's got some great food and, some great places to hang out, that they want to spread their wings and go back to Sydney.
Yeah, that's true.
Interesting question.
It's a good way to look at it.
But I think you want to make sure your investment rents what you're buying. You want to make sure it sells when you decide to sell it. You want to make sure you're getting capital growth on or about a little bit more, a little bit less than what Sydney does. It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. No one's got the answers, I get that. But certainly it's been a tremendous success, Newcastle, over the last 5 or 10 years from what I've seen, and it's taken me by surprise. Not as good as DY, of course, Ben.
Oh, of course. Well, I met my wife in DY. Actually, it was Colorado. We lived in DY.
It is the center of the universe. Officially. Any questions from our viewers, Billy, that we've got to ask? Anything more you want to say, Ben?
Come by Newcastle.
Affordability. It's a big question.
Well, I think you got both up here.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Newcastle. Literally, the town goes on to the beach almost.
Yeah.
They've got a V8 supercar race in town here. And that just
true.
showed a little bit of my bogan side. But
love a supercar
question from
race.
Gavin: is the land registered, Ben?
Which land is that? I think there's obviously a lot of registered land that's going up here. So the developments that we're doing, we've actually started work on it. So,
okay.
Yes.
Yep. All ready to go. And then how quickly can you move into one of these things if you're buying it off the plan?
Well, to give you an example, the stuff that we are doing in Mayfield, I think they've just started on site. They're looking to have that fully built in 12 months. We're talking, roughly 43 lots. There's a number of different residential units with some townhouses and a small commercial one. We've actually got one of your favourites, the old Soho, the single operator home office.
Oh, I love those. I love the Soho. So that's great. So it's great that you've given us access to selling those properties. If anyone's interested, let us know. We didn't do the show to sell properties, but we did it more for awareness. Introduce Ben. Ben's been a part of our show for the last year or so, I think, watching and commenting and stuff, and thank you so much for your support. But guys and girls, let us know if you've got any interest in a 1 bedroom, a 2 bedroom, or a townhouse in Newcastle. Billy or I can look you out, can look after you there. And Ben, thank you for talking about your beautiful suburb that you're living in at the moment, in the area that you are.
No, I love it. Thanks very much, guys, and thanks, Mark, for your advice and help during the process. Obviously, that's what started me on the live stream journey with you guys.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
you started. How did you stumble on us?
Oh, mate, I'm a bit of I'm on LinkedIn a little bit too much, maybe.
And then you were like, "Hang on a sec, this applies to me at this exact time."
I did, yeah. Look, and it's great time in the morning. Get yourself started, get your head in the game, and hear a little bit about what's going on out there in the market. So that was good.
We're on the same clock.
Yeah, and it's great. It's good seeing someone that's using this, I guess, social network, and the technology that's out there, to best promote opportunities, not just through yourselves, but you seem to be doing it throughout your wider network with different contacts and what they're doing as well, just to make your customers and clients aware.
Yeah, and I think it's a little bit like the news. It never gets old. There's always news to tell, and it's a little bit like the weather. You know what I mean? So sometimes it's cold, sometimes it's hot, but we're out there telling the story. So I enjoy it. It's been fun.
I just realised I probably should have sat in for in another a 73 odd episodes, because then I could have been 888, which is another V8 Supercars reference.
The lucky number. The lucky number.
Line up the big numbers on the episodes.
Oh no! See, Billy, you'll be too young. You won't know what 888 is.
I'm also not really a supercar fan.
Yeah, no.
We won't go down that topic of conversation. Don't want to embarrass myself.
Well, mate, you could buy a great little unit up in Newcastle and be right on the track.
It's true. It's true. You must get a few fans with the overnight stay and just want a place to put their head down for the night. It's a good spot to do it.
Yeah, well, there you go. There's another market, Airbnb, not just rentals.
Not just that.
Definitely.
All right. Well, boys, have a great day, everyone. I hope we helped you telling a little bit more about Newcastle with Ben, and we will speak soon, Ben. Take 100%. Care.
See you,
Billy. Thanks, guys. See ya. Bye.
Still